Okay, page 85, under the chapter entitled The Monuments of Petra. We'll start at the bottom paragraph. It reads, "The Kazne, which greets the eye long before the explorer has actually issued from the Sikh." Now, the Kazne is probably the most famous architectural structure in Petra. And it's the one that the brother who made the video, it's the one that was shown on the movie and the pictures that he used from Transformers. He probably didn't even know that, but yeah, that's the Kazne. Okay. It is the most remarkable monument, as we have already seen, in the entire necropolis. It faces the exit of the Sikh. No other rock-hewn edifice, even in Petra, can really be said to compare with it. It was presumably a royal mausoleum. It dates very probably from the 1st century AD, as its style is not Roman but Hellenistic, the pomp and decoration of the late Roman architecture being entirely wanting. So this dates from around the 1st century AD. Now, the Edomites were expelled from Petra in the 5th century, in the 6th century BC. The Nabateans occupied Petra throughout the times when the Romans occupied the territory. All right, but this structure, it says it dates very probably from the 1st century AD, as its style is not Roman but Hellenistic. All right, we'll move on down. On the other hand, the Corinthian capitals, the elaborate moldings, the decorative reliefs on flat surfaces. Now, before I continue, does anyone know what a Corinthian capital is? It's an architectural style. But a Corinthian capital, there's a certain dates when the Corinthian style of architecture came about. All right? The three main styles of these capitals and whatnot are Doric, which is the oldest, Ionic, and Corinthian. These are all Hellenistic styles of architecture. All right, so it says, on the other hand, the Corinthian capitals, a capital is something at the top of a column. All right, that's those things that Greco-Roman style of architecture that you see in these court buildings and these state buildings and the old Greek temples and Roman temples and whatnot. All right, those are capitals. It's at the top of a column. All right, right now what I want to do is get you some understanding concerning capital architecture. All right, and we're going to get this information from Wikipedia. You can find it in all over the internet and different textbooks and whatnot. I learned about this stuff in social studies class in high school. Anyways, let's start here in the capital architecture. Since this is the architecture that is being spoken of in Petra, and so we need to research these terms and find out, what these words mean. All right, basically, it says, in several traditions of architecture, including classical architecture, the capital, from the Latin word caput, or head, forms the crowning member of a column or a pilaster. Now, this would be a column right over here, and this is the top part, or the crowning part, the head. That's capital. All right. Now it says right here, we'll pick up here, the bulk of the capital may either be convex, as in the Doric order, concave, as an inverted bell of the Corinthian order, or scrolling out, as in the Ionic order. These form the three principal types on which all capitals are based. Alright, so let's go on down to classical capitals, it talks about the Doric capital. It says the simplest of the 5 classical orders. It consists of the abacus above and ovalo molding with an astragal collar set below. Alright, and it was used, it says, in the temple of Apollo in Syracuse in 700 BCE. Let's just get you an example of a Doric capital right here under the Doric order. See, this is the Doric capital. Plain, you know, real simple, and it's the oldest of the 3 main orders. Alright, then in the Ionic capital, okay, it shows spirally coiled volutes are inserted between the abacus and the ovalo. An example of that is right here. That's an Ionic capital. Alright, I'm sure everyone's seen these different types of capitals. Okay. This one, it says, in the Ionic capitals of the archaic temple of Artemis at Ephesus, 560 BCE. Alright, so we can date that. The oldest is Doric, the second oldest is the Ionic, and then you have the Corinthian capital. Alright, now let's go to the Corinthian page. And let me give you an example of the Corinthian capital, how that looks. I'm sure you've seen these. It's fancier. You can tell it's a more advanced style. Alright, it has the leaves and everything. Okay. Now in the history, it says a more famous example and the first documented use of the Corinthian order on an exterior of a structure is the circular corrugate monument of Lysicrates in Athens, erected around 334 BC. Alright. The Edomites were expelled from Petra in the 6th century BC. So obviously, if the first use of these capitals, these Corinthian capitals, were used in 334 BC, that would mean that those buildings with Corinthian capitals would have to have been done any time after 334 BC. It's just common sense, basic math. Alright, so it says, I'll pick up where it says the elaborate moldings, the decorative reliefs on flat surfaces, and the free use of statues and carved animals show that either the Nabateans were themselves capable of such workmanship, or that they employed, like Solomon, when constructing the temple in Jerusalem, foreign architects and foreign workmen to execute it. One authority groups the Kosne with the Corinthian tomb and the Dare and makes them all based on foreign models, which may be supposed to have been carried out to the order of foreigners with foreign designers and possibly foreign workmen. Okay, so you can see that these architectural structures, and this one in particular, is not most likely not even native to the land of Petra, and most likely weren't even constructed by the Nabateans, but constructed by outsiders. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up soon. I'm going to just read some more information concerning the monuments of Petra from the same chapter. Down on page 89. Section 4 says, on the northeast wall of the city, passing the theater and keeping to the right, we soon come to the most imposing series of rock-hewn tombs in all Petra. They are cut into the northeast wall of the city, which is known as Al-Qubta. Most of them are of pure classical or Roman type. The first large one is known as the Urn tomb. The rock front of the monument has been so cut down as to provide a large flat area or court in front of the tomb, over 70 feet wide, adorned with Doric porticos on either side. Now Doric, that's a form of architecture. That's an architectural style, a Hellenist architectural style. There's dates when these styles came about. 5 ancient arches of solid masonry sustain this area, which naturally furnishes the temple tomb in an imposing setting. Some of these arches are still in place, but most of them are blurred under the ruins of those that have fallen. Over the great mass of fallen stones, it is necessary to scramble in order to reach a level area.